So, going into the Banff podcast, I'm your host, Mike Lafferty. And here's Andrew Collis, aka Bear Gen X DM.
GM, please.
Sorry.
GM. I
Forgive
specifically took the D out because of all the shenanigans of late.
me. Careful, man. Pinkerton's going to show up at your door.
Canada, bring it.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of shenanigans, you hear about new TSR?
They're filing for bankruptcy or some shit?
Yeah,
there's
they had outstanding debts of like $300,000 and total assets of less than $700 American. So
there you go. Was there any truth to the rumors and accusations about the let's just call it anti-Semitism and leave it at that?
Not that I ever saw. They did have a playtest beta they put out for their new version of Star Frontiers that did have some races that could best be called, hey, what's up, Jacob?
I apologize for being late. I was completely distracted. I was literally tearing through the new Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering cards, so I completely lost track of time.
Do you have the one?
I have not yet found the One Ring, no.
Well, that's probably just as well.
Yeah, seriously.
Trust me. If I did, I might turn it in for that $185,000 bounty.
There's a $185,000 bounty for the One Ring card?
There's currently a company that is offering $185,000 for the one Ring card. They will come out to your place to get it, to verify that it is what it is, and if it is, they'll buy it from you right there. Money. But on to other things that we enjoy. What were you talking about?
We were talking about where everybody was.
Okay.
I got a guy at McCraft's video who he and all of his Magic the Gathering geek friends have pooled their money and they're trying to buy as many sets boxes as they can. And if they get it, they plan on taking a vacation to Hawaii, going to one of the active volcanoes and throwing it in.
The thing is, go to Iceland. Iceland is just as nice. It costs less to go there.
Has no mosquitoes.
It has no freaking mosquitoes, and it has plenty of other various terrain between glaciers and volcanoes
and Icelandic women.
Fermented shark is a delicacy there.
And Icelandic women.
Andrew wants to find some priestess of the old Norse religion to show him the true ways.
Yeah, I was just looking at vacation options that are like Hawaii, but cost way less because going to Hawaii, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars just for the trip and staying there. Meanwhile, there's a series of islands off the coast of Portugal where you could get literally the same experience minus volcanoes for hundreds of dollars.
Is that the Azores?
I would have to remember. I was just looking at it the other day. I have it tagged somewhere.
You could always go to the island of Malta for your vacation and then find the tunnels and get lost or get attacked or something by some monsters.
It always sounds fun.
Yeah, so they were talking about the islands off the coast of Portugal: Vila de Corvo, Santa Cruz das Flores, Santa Cruz das Graciosa. Yeah, it's the Azores, I think. I think that's the Azores.
I
could be wrong. Yeah, it's the Azores. There we are. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful islands. The Azores are insanely beautiful.
They're lovely. They're absolutely lovely. So yes, Cocaine Owlbear.
Yeah, what the hell, Mike?
Hey,
what is wrong with you?
Mike pitched it. I drew it, and I said, "Hey, do something simple with it, like Honey Heist. Can you adapt the rules of Honey Heist?" And he did, and I see no problem with this. It has for me, the Cocaine Owlbear T-shirt has been my biggest T-shirt seller ever. Since I put it up a couple of weeks ago, There not a single day has gone by where I've not sold at least one or two. I've never had any success like this with a T-shirt.
It's a zeitgeist. You've tapped into it. Cocaine Owlbear.
Mm.
Well, it helps when you're doing a mockbuster of a movie that had a huge viral marketing campaign.
And now you know why. What is that film company that always does the mockbusters?
The Asylum.
The Asylum. Now you know why the Asylum exists.
Yeah.
Something
do something incredibly inexpensive and rakes in a lot of money simply based on concept and or name recognition.
Yep.
I gotta tell you, I'd never before gotten press in Dicebreaker that they covered this.
Yeah, a lot of companies have picked this up on and just to say, hey, look at this ridiculous thing.
One of my friends came across, like, who has nothing to do with any of this stuff, said, did you hear about this thing called Cocaine Owlbear? I saw a T-shirt for it online and all this stuff. And I'm like, jeez.
I know these people.
I know them. I met them. I know them. I've worked with them. Both of them.
We should make this a lifestyle brand. Tea towels, coffee mugs.
Come to the Owlbear. Stay for the cocaine. Yeah, totally. I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Listen, Mike.
Yeah.
If you hadn't done it, I would be more shocked.
Yeah. We weren't. I did some searches. There were, there's kids on Tumblr who were setting them up for 5e. Basically it's an owlbear stats with cocaine rage as a special power or whatever. But
I have seen the Cocaine Owlbear builds for 5th edition. I don't think they've gone far enough because having seen the movie, I would have given it full like barbarian rage abilities and give it some kind of unkillable power because that bear does things that just would not be survivable, even to bears.
I have not seen the movie. I will probably not see the movie, and I'm okay with that.
There are a large group of friends who we enjoy watching movies for the mock-opportunities.
I love a bad movie. I love a movie so bad it's good. But I learned my lesson with Snakes on a Plane to avoid internet darling films.
Mm-hmm. Now I had a friend, Angela, and she we were introducing her to some of our other friends, and we were mentioning that we were going to be watching the DOA film, which we had just acquired on video, and Angela's like, "Why are we going to watch that piece of crap movie?" And it's like, "No, you don't understand. We're watching it because it's a piece of crap movie. We are going to mock the hell out of this movie." And she was like, "Oh, that sounds like a delightful time."
I am a lifelong Misty and a Riffer, and I'm even a little bit of a cinematic Titanic. I absolutely love picking on bad films, right? Mm-hmm. Like we used to, long before any of this stuff was back in the 80s, the late 80s, me and a couple of other actors and a writer, we used to watch just anything bad that we could get our hands on to watch for the sake of it being bad. And the amount of riffing before we knew what riffing was that we did on Plan 9 from Outer Space was brutal. Like we were just like, we lost our minds that night.
Oh God!
We smoked some herb, we were primed for it, but we had a lot of fun. Yeah, that bad movies exist for a reason. Corman exists for a reason.
Absolutely, yeah.
I made my wife watch Zombievers once as payback for all the Fast and Furious movies I've had to watch.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. All right, what's your favorite so bad it's good movie?
Jeez, that's difficult. Because that's like literally asking what's your favorite movie. Well, it depends on the time, If you're
just the one you can watch over and over and over again, and you're happy to see it every time because it's so bad you love how bad it is.
I've seen all the Sharknado films just to put that out there.
You know that last one where they kind of went multiversal with it, and there was like a multiverse where an alternate timeline with Tara Reid taking over reality, and there was like a board collective of Tara Reid cyborgs.
Of course, there was.
I don't recommend the Sharknado films. I'm just saying I've seen them, and that I could approach them from a knowledgeable perspective in that I've seen them.
Fair enough.
You know, Rutger Hauer's been in a lot of bad films. The Blind Swordsman one that he was in. It's all right. Hey, yep, there is Alice. How you doing, Alice?
You gave me 8:30 Mountain Time / 7:30 Pacific, so that would be in 20 minutes from now. So I usually jump in about 15 minutes early. So I'm like, I'm late.
Blame the cocaine, Albert.
I was late too.
So, I just went by the time on the YouTube channel. That's what I went by. YouTube said 10 p.m. my time. I'm like, okay, I know what time it to be there.
That's hysterical. I got 7:30 / 8:30. So, hi everyone.
Hey, Alice, we were talking about favorite bad movies. You got one?
Oh gosh, yeah, I do. Free Jack.
Ooh,
oh, that's good.
It's so bad, it's awesome, and I've loved it since I was a child. And when I learned about Shadowrun, I was like, "That's Shadowrun. Free Jack is freaking Shadowrun."
That's a good one, Free Jack. I literally just watched a YouTube analysis of that movie like a month ago.
The Nun with the shotgun, best thing ever.
Yeah, Mike, you didn't tell us yours yet.
Honestly, there's a lot of bad movies that people don't consider bad movies.
Those are the best ones.
Young Guns.
You think really Young Guns is a bad movie?
I don't know. I kind of consider that as a kind of a rock pulp western.
Yeah.
Okay. How about its companion movie, The Three Musketeers, with pretty much the same cast?
Yeah, that was
I don't even know that one.
It's with is it Charlie Sheen who plays
Charlie Sheen
in it?
Yeah, okay. I vaguely do have recollection. That was a while ago, yeah.
All right, mine is I don't know who knows it, who's seen it, but we'll find out real quick. Sandal Bergman, 1984, She.
I have heard about it. I have not seen it.
I've seen bits.
Bad. It's so bad, but I love it. I watch it at least twice a year. I love that movie so much.
I've seen bits of it. And yes, what is subjectively bad as a movie is very subjective and changes a lot and what makes money versus what doesn't make money, and people say that it becomes good or bad based off of it. It's very subjective and shifting.
I'm in what is considered one of the most universally bad films of all time.
Troll 2?
Which one is that?
Battlefield Earth.
That is not bad. I'm sorry.
Oh my god!
It's horrendous. It's horrendous, but in a funny way.
Yes, it's fun to mock.
Yes, I've only watched it twice in my life.
Okay.
And I was very young. But my memory of it was so bad it's good, just like Free Jack.
Look, for some people that would be a fair assessment. I can tell you, making
so bad it's good. I think that I don't remember ever watching the full thing, to be honest. I have specific scenes in my mind that I have memories of. But I just thought that was so horrible. It was good. It was intentionally like Free Jack. Free Jack is absolutely horrendous and horrible, but it is so good, bad it's good. On the other hand, I know a lot of people hate Sucker Punch, and I love Sucker Punch, and I don't know why people hate Sucker Punch.
I love people hate Zack Snyder. I thought it was a great movie because I understood the art that it was.
I find the way they handled a specific subject matter very interesting, and I think that it's identifiable for a lot of people and masqueraded as just another action flick, but a lot of people who have gone through certain types of traumas and issues and such can identify the need to try and find your escape hatch. And the way that it ends, they end it in a way that is a little bit like Inception, where, well, does she actually get out? Did she escape the lobotomy? Did she get out or not? So I think there's a lot of interesting aspects in there. But yes, I'm not a big fan of Zack Snyder stuff. But
clearly, you feel connected to it, so I won't make fun of it. I'll be nice.
Okay.
I know a lot of people who consider Return of the Jedi to be a very good movie. And
well, I know a lot of people thought the Achy Breaky Heart was a great song.
Yeah, and I watched that back to back with some of the prequels one time, and I was like, I know why George did what he did, because all the faults you can hang on the prequels, you can hang on Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I have it.
What do you got, Jake? Oh my God!
I'm sorry. I cannot sit through another round of prequels for Star Wars. The 2-inch higher ground, and you will lose because you have 2 inches of 2 inches below me. Among other aspects, I cannot. No. It's better to wash my memory of all the prequels and say they don't exist. Bye-bye.
Alex, let me give you the greatest therapy that I can give you for this. Watch Revenge of the Sith with riff tracks. It is when they say things like, here comes Obi-Wan Baloney on his Galumposaurus, it just makes it all the pain go away. And you could just laugh openly at this stupid film.
I have thought of the movie that I know is universally reviled and I love.
Oh, Jacob, what is
it? And it is the movie that has lost the most money in Hollywood.
Oh.
Pluto Nash.
I've never seen it.
I auditioned for that, please. Yeah, it was awful.
Honestly, I thought Pluto Nash was a good movie. I thought it had a decent story. It was a mystery. I thought it was fun.
Extras were told on set not to make eye contact with Mr. Murphy while shooting that film, sir.
That's because Mr. Murphy had gone from the person he was when he first started to the guy who goes around with his fucking entourage.
Yes,
he had literally become the character he was mocking from what was that one movie with
Bowfinger?
Bowfinger. He had literally become that person.
Oh yeah. Oh no, the horror stories that I heard from that set while it was shooting here was like, wow. I was like, I didn't get the part. Then I was like, I didn't get the part. Woohoo! Thank you. Sadly, I tried to tank my audition for Battlefield Earth because I read the script and was like, no goddamn way I want to do this. But you don't turn down an audition. You always go because otherwise you get a rep. So I did a bad job at the audition on purpose. And the casting director from LA was Leslie Stahl. And Leslie Stahl is kind of famous as being one of these like insanely high tier casting directors. And at the end of the audition, he looked at me and he said, okay, you're going to go home. You're going to learn these lines again, and you're going to come back and do it better tomorrow because I know you can. And the way he spoke and the way his eye, like the locked eyes and everything, I was just like, as an actor, I went, okay, yes, sir, I'll go do that. Yes, sir, thank you. And I went home and I learned my lines and I came back and I booked the part the next day. But I was like afterwards going, what the fuck just happened? I didn't want this part. Why the fuck am I in this movie now? Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to promise Andrew that when we crowdfund the Cocaine Owlbear short, I will hold open any role for you that you want.
I'm in, baby. I'm in. I want to be the owlbear. With the coke. No.
Alice, you were saying.
There's a very famous story that I've heard about Star Trek that reminds me of your story, Bear, because Patrick Stewart is famous for the fact that he did not like being Picard. And after shooting the pilot, he calls his agent up and goes, I want out. The costumes are itchy. The lights are horrible. Everything on the set smells cheap and horrible. It stinks in here, like literally stinks. It's the most miserable set ever. His agent goes, just stick it out. It won't make it past second or third episode and you'll get paid for the whole season. You just have to stick it out for 2 or 3 episodes and you'll get paid the whole season. And it became, and a few years later, look at what that became for his life.
Oh yeah.
Well, it eventually became something he loved.
Yes, it did.
Because Gene died, and the new people that took over actually, gave a shit about their actors.
Ron Fraser, how you doing, sir? Good to see you in the comments.
The other big thing from that set that is a story that all of them tell is that he was being very Royal Shakespeare about everything. So there was no messing around. You were very professional on set. And slowly but surely, the other actors wore him down to like, you're in Hollywood. We have long ass days ahead of us. We need to make jokes or we're going to lose our minds. And then apparently by the end of the series, he was the biggest practical joker on set of all of them. So, you know,
yeah,
God bless him.
Yeah, from what I hear of the X-Men set, Hugh Jackman was talking about how he, being an Australian actor, was known for being a party guy on the set. Yet when he went on the set of X-Men, he could not keep up with Patrick Stewart
on the jokes, breaking him down.
On the partying that would happen after every set night. It's like it was so rough for him.
It's so sad that Patrick Stewart's so getting along in his years, because to hear that the last Picard, he's just like, yeah, I can't do another one, guys. I'm old. I can't do a long day anymore. You don't understand how long these days are.
It's so sad because the first 2 seasons of Picard were such shit, but that third season was just
the third one was such a gold standard Star Trek.
Oh, it was like,
first one was okay. Second one is a slog fest. I can't handle it, and I'm sorry, but like. Second episode's just Star Trek 4, the going back in time, and they even replicated the scenes, multiple scenes, like the bus scene, and but they didn't even do it with enough respect or homage, and it was just it's such a slogfest, and it's like nothing's happening that's worthwhile, and I'm wanting to
May I rant for a moment?
Go for it.
May I steal the floor to rant, please?
As if we could stop you. Please go ahead.
You could say, no, I'm Canadian. I'm going to go, oh, okay. And then write you a sternly worded letter later, in protest. Sir, I feel that you were, sir, that this was perhaps. Okay. I love Star Trek. I am a huge Star Trek fan. I honestly feel Star Trek died in 2009 when J.J. Abrams made that motion picture that we all liked the first time we saw it. And then we had what Hitchcock used to refer to as refrigerator thoughts, which is Hitchcock said, I'm in the middle of a rant. Be quiet. I will get to you in a moment, Alice. This is rant time. You don't derail a rant. Fine, Alice, go ahead. You derail the rant.
I was just holding my finger up to remember. Keep ranting.
That draws attention. Anyway, okay. So fridge thoughts are when you're standing at the fridge at midnight after seeing the movie and you go, wait a minute. How did everyone know that the sled was called Rosebud since he said it and no one was in the room? Things like that. Those are fridge thoughts, and Hitchcock never worried about them. J.J. Abrams has made a fucking career out of them. He's made an entire type of cinema out of the fridge thought, where you just go, but wait, no. And we got 3 of those fucking pieces of shit. Then we get Discovery, the biggest piece of crap I have ever seen in my life. And I tried every fucking season. I came back and went, I'll watch one episode and see how I feel. And by the end of the episode, I wanted to break things because it was just like, do you know what Star Trek is? Did you actually watch fucking Star Trek? Then Lower Decks. This fan service insult that just makes a mockery out of Star Trek, and people love it. They go, oh, it's so funny. It's like, drives me up the wall. And then there's this little gem that comes floating in called Prodigy. And if you actually watch Prodigy, you'll go, oh my God, this is Star Trek. They understand what Star Trek's about. It's about hope and doing better and working together as a team, and no one person is more important than the rest, and you got to pull together to get everything done. This is awesome. This is great. And no one fucking watches it. It's always the lowest ranked out of all the modern Star Trek stuff. No one pays attention to it. Picard. Less said about that, the better, except for season 3, which was fucking amazing, and Terry Matalas deserves a fucking award for being so good to Star Trek fans. Like, it's amazing. Strange New Worlds.
Hey, Bear, you should meet Bear. El Bearzadente, frequent commenter, weighs in.
Hey, El Bearzadente.
Jar Jar Abrams is a one-trick pony, and his mystery box sucks every time. And I have to agree, and I suspect you do too.
But 2 of his prodigies have done something amazing. Have you seen the show From?
Never heard of the show From.
Okay.
I've heard of it.
I will tell you nothing because I don't want to ruin it for you. I know you love Lower Decks, Jacob. That's fine. From is a mystery box show like Lost, and the two showrunners worked on Lost, but they're doing it right, and they're doing it well. It's on its second season right now. They're about to air the second to last episode of season 2. It's 10 episodes per season. I highly recommend. Give the first season a try, and if you like it, you'll come back because it's just like the mystery is just so deep and so good. So there you go. I apologize that I don't like Lower Decks to everybody in the fucking.
What do you have there, Jacob?
That'd be Captain Kirk.
1 million quatlers.
I just wanted to say.
On the newcomer. Sorry, what?
I just wanted to say, you said everybody loved it when we first watched it. No, I was the person sitting there watching the first J.J. Abrams movie, screaming at the screen repeatedly on what a piece of garbage that was and how upset I was.
Flares.
So now I've got this image in my head of Alice in the theater going, "He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle transporter." I'm like,
no. I could not stand that movie. I'm sorry. I was very upset with multiple aspects of the J.J. Abrams series of 3 movies. And I'm sorry that I'm really stuck on this, but that includes fencing is using a rapier. And if you're going to try and fence, you don't use a longsword or a bastard sword, or I forget what sword he used, but it's a rapier.
It looked like a measuring tape sword. It was very flat and it unfolded like a piece of foil. That's all I know. Yeah. Oh, that's why. Because they heard the word foil and being the uneducated idiot writers they are, went, oh, well, then it must be like flat. It's a foil. Oh, like.
Yeah. Just there was lots of things and I could not get past that one aspect. And that's the aspect I remember most. But there are many aspects of that movie, those 3 movies that I was not a fan of. I'm sorry.
I'm there with you.
And Chris Pine's a great actor, but for some reason I have discovered that many of the movies he's in, I'm not a fan of the script for that movie, unfortunately. I have not watched it. I will watch it at a later point. Okay. I still haven't watched it. So we'll see. But a lot of the movies, I'm not a huge fan of what the script he worked in was about. So we'll see if I'm better about Dungeons and Dragons.
We lost Mike. Okay.
To some degree, I agree with you in regards to Chris Pine movies. There's something that's like he's an actor who seems forced on us for some reason. But Dungeons and Dragons was honestly one of the first movies I saw that he starred in that I actually enjoyed his performance. I thought his character was interesting. I thought especially his loser rant. So, or his failure rant. Yeah. So I won't go into more of it than that because Alice hasn't seen the film.
Have you seen The King? I think it's called the one where he's the Scottish king.
I have not. No.
Very good.
No.
Very good.
Okay.
Like surprising.
Does he actually click with all of it? Because
he doesn't do his muggy, and we lost. Everybody just popping in and out.
We're losing people.
Mike removed me to put himself back in. Hi, Mike.
Oh my God, we've hit some sort of temporal loop. We're going through space and time, Mr. Spock. It's good. It's really good. It's worth watching. I'm going to be the outsider on this one. I didn't like Wonder Woman. Like I liked parts of Wonder Woman. The original, the first one.
Okay.
I liked parts of it, but there was a lot of it where I was just like, fuck this. How do you go in a boat from the Aegean Sea to London in 3 days? Like, what? Like, that's the stuff that drives me up the wall.
They never say where Themyscira is.
It's Greek. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's in the Mediterranean or it's in the Aegean Sea. I'm going to go out on a limb as a DC Comics fan from way back.
Where is Themyscira? In the TV series, it was in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yep. I was just about to mention that it was placed in the Bermuda Triangle.
Themyscira is not on Earth.
DC is not going to send you a check for defending their bullshit, sir. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Well, my biggest problem with that, if you're talking about the Wonder Woman 2017 movie, okay, my biggest problem with that was, given what we know about Wonder Woman's long established history of morality, her boyfriend taking over someone else's body would bother the heck out of her, and she would not be enabling that for an entire movie. And that was really hard to swallow.
Yeah.
The worst part is if you were to reverse the genders on that one,
it would be really freaky.
Everyone would rip you apart. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if it was the woman that took over it, oh yeah, I would never stand. But as a man, I'm like, really? Am I the only one that sees this as violation that Wonder Woman would see as a violation? And being a gamer, I feel that there, I'm trying to figure out the right way to word this, but I feel that through gaming, I have discovered ways of a person can be violated without it being the R word on levels that I never expected. For example, not just gamer, I think generally gamer/geek, because if you go to Young Justice, Miss Martian mentally R-words Superboy.
Yep.
There's an entire storyline where she is mentally R-wording Superboy's brain. And that is not a subject that kids would understand. Once again, Young Justice, we all know, was badly time slotted for a Saturday morning kids cartoon when it was never meant for kids, because
it was an adult show.
Yes. But being a geek, I think there's a lot of that exploration where there is a lot more violation than just the physical body. And the amount of people that were just like, that Wonder Woman was amazing, and all I could see was, how did that violation get through? Because that seems pretty horrible. There's this guy waking up, repeatedly getting and the things being done with that guy's body during the possession.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about things we hate all day. Sure. I would prefer to be talking about things we love. For example, Air Residente right now is talking about Babylon 5. I am very excited about this. I was a huge fan of Babylon 5. I watched all the made-for-television movies, even though some of them were terrible. I watched the Crusade series, which was terrible, but Babylon 5 itself was amazing. And if you are not old enough to remember Babylon 5, I seriously recommend going back and watching it. It was one of the first science fiction series to be a series as opposed to being episodic. And that really meant something, especially back when it came on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this new animated film. It's supposed to be canon. They got back as many people who are still alive to do the voice cast, because several of the original cast are no longer with us, unfortunately, which is damn tragedy, because they were amazing actors. Oh God, Andreas Katsoulis, I miss him every day.
Babylon 5 was absolutely amazing, and without that, I feel that a lot of things, like I feel that Farscape would not have become Farscape and existed as Farscape without the ancestry of having Babylon 5.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm looking forward to it. The one thing, I've watched some of the follow-ups for Babylon 5, and like you said, it's bad, but a lot of them are bad. But I realized I actually stopped watching follow-ups for Babylon 5 for a lot of the bad ones when I discovered through some friends that Babylon 5 ended with them saying, well, the show's doing so well again. You know, the last season did really well. Why don't you continue it? And the creator said, no, I had a very specific story written and I will not continue it. And that is the setting. And so it became suddenly like, I don't need to watch the rest of it because he told his story, he told his setting. But given what I've heard about this new one, the animated, I actually do want to go back because it is going back with a different lens and going back to the same world without trying to do some of the things that of like continuation of B5, like some of the other things that followed up B5. This is going from a different angle, and I'm really freaking excited.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So for me, that's Supernatural.
Yeah, Kripke had 5
Kripke,
seasons.
Kripke had 5
Yes.
seasons. He knew
Agreed.
exactly how the 5th season was supposed to end, and he was done. And they kept it going for another 8 seasons.
Yeah,
I didn't watch them.
and
Because-
you could really tell because the stories just got okay. So now we're having to fight these super powerful monsters, and the next season now we're having to fight these even more super powerful monsters.
But just go to that
Yes.
last episode of season 5. Dean gets his reward. He gets a family. Sam went to hell, and then they cut to that add-on shot of Sam watching him through the window. I'm like, that's because they're doing season 6.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, like, just let things die.
And the thing is that I totally agree with you on Supernatural, and there was like ups and downs after that. But I do think that after season 5, there are a couple gem arcs. Like the Leviathan arc is one of my favorite arcs in Supernatural, and I believe that was after season 5, but I might be wrong. But Leviathan arc is one of my favorite arcs, just because I make that reference all the time that we live in a world where Leviathans are breeding us to be. Because I really
big, fat,
feel,
and stupid. Yeah,
big, fat, and stupid is very, 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 very parallel to the real world. But yes,
So
I totally see what you mean.
Elber Zedente says JMS had a plan for 4 seasons and they whacked him with season 5, which was a bit destroyed. No, sir. He had a plan for 5 seasons. They canceled him in season 4, so he wrapped up the Shadow War 1 season early, and then they brought him back for season 5, so he did the Earth War in season 5. His original plot was the Earth War unifying everyone, and then everybody unified going against the shadows at the very end, which was sort of the whole idea of Babylon 5 being this universal thing of bringing all the species together. But because they screwed him on that, he jumped the gun, and then that's why season 5 was so disjointed. And that's why I don't love Babylon 5 as much as everybody else does. I appreciated it. I watched it. I was there every week, but that left such a bad taste in my mouth that I was just done. I was like, God, why would you do that? You know? Same thing for Farscape. I am the biggest Farscape fan you can ever meet. I adore that show. But the 3 movies that they did afterwards, it feels like the Serenity movie. It's entire seasons of shows condensed into a couple of hours. And that's
unfortunately because that's what they gave them.
Right. But the problem is that the stories feel...
The Peacekeeper War was their attempt to wrap up what they wanted to do for the following like 2 or 3 seasons.
Yes.
But the show got canceled.
Imagine Dargo's death if they had the full season to get him to that death. It would have been so poignant and so touching, whereas it just felt like meh when they did it in the Peacekeeper Wars. It was like, meh, Dargo's dead. Okay, that sucks. Moving on. You know, it's just so sad. And you're right. I've worked in the film industry since 1987. Been taking some time off, but I've been there. Studio execs mess everything up.
Yep.
It is insane how useless they are. There is a reason there is no Academy Award for Best Producer. You understand? Like it's not by accident. There's a reason why, because they never make things better. They always make them worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is.
Well, and also something that they're starting to learn, especially in our modern age, the rating systems that they always followed have always had major issues, and the issues have only gotten worse. So when the producers come in and say, well, your ratings were terrible last season, so we're going to cancel you, then they have this outcry of twice as many people as they thought were watching the show, and they go, gosh, we got to give you another season. And then the creators are like, what am I going to do now? Well, crud. And it's not the creator's fault. And this happens to so many TV shows.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Cocaine Albert. It's for kids.
It's for kids. These are kids. You could buy your toddler Cocaine Albert onesie.
For kids.
For kids.
Maybe I should turn that one off.
It's for the children.
Yeah.
I know some adults who are kid-sized. They'll love it.
We seem to have lost Alice.
Oh, yeah. Alice is frozen in time and space.
Alice, you may need to relog. If you can still hear us, you may need to relog. You are frozen.
Did anybody see that gag that was really good that said Zoom calls have turned us all into having seances? It's like, can you hear me? I think Barbara wants to join us. Barbara, are you with us?
Yes, I do recall that one. Yeah.
So Jacob, speaking of movies that you like, you recently saw something, didn't you?
Yes. Now that Alice is no longer with us, I can talk about the Transformer movie. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Bear has apparently decided to leave while I'm discussing this as well.
Kidding.
I get it. No, it's not for everyone. I am a huge fan of the Transformers. I did not like the Bay films. However, Bumblebee was a decent film.
It's a very decent film.
This movie follows in the footsteps of Bumblebee, with Bumblebee having arrived in '87 and the rest of the Autobots following soon after. This movie takes place in 1994, and they specifically mention it's been 7 years since that they've been trapped on Earth. There are new characters. They introduce the Maximals. I did not watch Beast Wars.
I did.
However, I am familiar through osmosis and my love of Transformers and doing online research for various games I've wanted to play and all that sort of thing. I have absorbed Beast Wars and what it was generally about. So, the fact that they are from the future after the Cybertronian Wars, but they get shunted back in time to Earth's past, and this in fact happens in the movie. So it very much follows that Beast Wars dynamic. But yeah, it's 1994, and things happen, and Unicron is getting summoned to Earth because of things happening. And there is no Megatron still in this. He did not show up in Bumblebee. He is not in this film. In fact, the enemies in this film are not Decepticons at all. They are Terrorcons. They are the agents of Unicron. In this particular case, it's Scourge, who is their leader, fan favorite character Nightwing from the original G1 series. She was the Decepticon ninja who was that was actually a robot created by humans. And then a third character who is never named in the entire movie. So I don't know who the third Terrorcon is. I'm sure I could look him up, but he's never named in the entire movie. So why bother?
Alice is back.
Okay.
I will say this: the only Transformers show I liked was Beast Wars. I loved Beast Wars.
I understand that Beast Wars had a great story,
amazing story,
and especially when you compare it to the original G1 series, which, like everything back in its day, was episodic. You were supposed to pretty much be able to watch the show and no matter what episode it was, be able to pick it up and put it away, and the dynamic would always be the same. Transformers.
I like the
Autobots were the heroes, the Decepticons were the enemies, and so on.
I like the Transformers, the movie, the animated movie. I like that quite a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too, and I liked the transition of power. I didn't care for all the characters being killed, but that's.
I think they seriously underestimated the trauma of Optimus Prime dying for Rodimus Prime to come into existence that caused to children. I don't think they gauged that one well. So much so in the G.I. Joe movie, Duke's not dead. He's resting.
Yeah, he's back from his coma. And yet we never saw him when the series restarted.
Exactly. I think that's because
he retired. He retired after he rested. Okay.
Yeah,
it's called retirement.
You take a cobra. You take a cobra to the chest. You kind of want to. You kind of want to think about. I'm going to take my pension.
Yeah, take your pension. Go out to the beach. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Just hanging out on the beach for the rest of your life. Exactly.
Get on the internet, argue with some people on Facebook groups. That's what all the retired military guys I know do. But
it's true.
So yeah, But yeah, I like the Transformers movie. I like the transition of power. I liked the story of Hot Rod becoming Rodimus Prime and having to be the new Prime after living with this legend and trying to live up to his legacy. I loved that story of Rodimus.
I liked Rodimus Prime. I was into the character. I'm like, okay, this is new. This is interesting. Let's see where this goes. Oh no, people hate this, so we're not doing this. Okay, understood. Let's just go back to square one that we all love to live in. 0 point. Got it.
That's honestly one of the reasons why I kind of liked the setup for those Machinima short Transformers films that came out a little while ago, the Combiner Wars, the Rise of the Titans, and all that, because it had it was supposed to take place after the war, and Rodimus Prime was still the Prime, with Optimus having exiled himself because there were too many people who saw him as the War Prime. And he wanted to hand off power to the Prime of peacetime, which I thought was perfect for Rodimus.
I think anime has done a great service to Western geekdom and fandom, because in the 80s, when we didn't have anime as an omnipresent thing in our geekosphere, we didn't like change. Everything had to reset to zero. It was the Stan Lee world of everything goes back to the status quo at the end of the issue, right?
Exactly.
But anime, once we start watching anime, we start seeing like, I like that. Well, he's dead. That character's gone, and there's still 10 more episodes of this series to go. Wow, that was weird. And I was watching a lot of Hong Kong cinema at the time too, and there's this fantastic movie called Operation Condor, where there's this hero guy, and you're following him all the way through the movie, and he gets to the bad guy, and the bad guy puts a gun to his head, and he grabs the gun, and you're going to do some martial arts. No, bam, he's dead, and there's still 20 minutes of movie. The hero just got greased, and there's still 20 minutes of movie. Yeah. And as we got more and more and more of that, we got to a point where as fans, we can accept change now. We can accept things not resetting to zero.
Yes.
The problem is we as fans have accepted this. The producers haven't.
Yeah.
Because the producers are still thinking toys and and licensing and all that kind of stuff, which is sad. Sorry, Alice, you were excited.
Oh no, I agree with you, but I think it actually expands further than that. It's something that Brandon and I have talked about quite a few times. It's pretty true for TV shows outside the U.S., outside of mega Hollywood, and for many decades longer, because in Europe, in Asia, all across Europe and Asia, they change. Like one of our favorite shows, BBC shows, MI5. Yeah, let's kill off the character. Let's kill off the character. Let's kill off the character.
Oh yeah.
The big thing is though, the quality of the writing always keeps you engaged. Yeah. So, whereas for a lot of American shows, for a long time, when they were starting to learn that change can be good, when they bring in a new character, they give you no character development. They also didn't remember the previous characters. Whereas the BBC, in other shows, in shows outside the US, a character dies, we remember that character. We'll reference that character from time to time and say, oh, this was his favorite food. Oh, gosh darn it, I wish he was here to do this. And the new character would get development time.
Yeah.
And so learning that in American productions, I think has been more key on understanding that you still need to remember that the character exists. They don't just drop off and disappear. And you do need to build a proper attachment to the new characters. It's not the fact that fans don't like this stuff. It's that you need to give fans something to keep momentum with.
Agreed.
And there are shows that do it well, and there are shows that do it horribly, where I'm like, my favorite character just got written out, and they won't introduce a proper character, and the character's so boring, and the character that died just never, ever got mentioned again.
Or the replacement character is a poor carbon copy photostat of the old one. Orville did that when the security girl left, and then the new girl's the exact same race. And I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
They did that as a parody, though. But yes, the character's not well developed.
I don't think it was a parody. I think he gets way more credit than he deserves as a showrunner, and it was clear with the last season of Orville, sadly.
I agree that the replacement was a drag, and I mean, the security girl is one of my favorite characters.
Yes.
And she just disappears, and the way that they handled it was not very well. And yeah,
But now let's go back to Babylon 5. We lose what's his name after the first season? Sheridan.
Sheridan was the replacement.
So who's the first one again?
That's
Sinclair.
the replacement.
We lose Sinclair after the first season, and we get Sheridan, who couldn't be more different of a character. And that was great as a result. Boxleitner comes in and does his own thing. You know what I mean? And as a result, people really gravitate. So you're right, Alice. People will gravitate to the new thing given time, or they'll love it right away.
To be honest, Boxleitner had more charisma.
Yeah, give development, and if you give investment, the people will feel it.
Yes.
If passion is felt through any type of medium, through audio, through video, through any type of interaction, if you are passionate about something, it's felt. So when creators are just like, let's shuck this character out and let's shuck this character in, they're all just plug and play, right? And you feel that. You feel that that's the conversation that they had back there. They're all the same plug and play. And you're just like, I'm so done.
Yep.
Yeah. And
to Esri Dax.
Yeah. I'm recently rewatching Bones, something that I watched a number of years ago. And I do, one of the things from back in the day that I appreciated was when characters die, they'll carry on the legacy of that character and talk and create stories around the dead character for quite a while. Sweets just died, and they're still dealing with stuff post Sweets almost half a season after. And that's something I appreciate.
Go back to
I didn't get to watch all of Bones last time it was on. So recently I'm like, well, I want something to watch while I'm doing random stuff and multitasking behind my when I can't focus on it. So it's kind of like an audio drama.
Go back to Night Court, right? The first lady dies in the real world. So they recast it with another crotchety old woman, and the fans don't react well to it. And then they get a stroke of genius and they recast it with Roz. Yeah. And Roz becomes a fan favorite because
Roz was amazing.
Different character.
Yeah.
But she was a great counsel because Selma was such a, like, she felt like Bull's handler. You know what I mean? Like, you're so nice, Bull. Like, she would just, like,
and the tiny one handling the big one.
Exactly. Yeah. But when Roz shows up, Roz is just like, y'all stupid. Like, so she's got a whole different energy, a whole different dynamic, and the fans responded very, very well to that. You know? Same thing when they replaced Billy. Christine is so different from Billy because Billy's confrontational and she's challenging Harry at all times. I don't know why I'm a Night Court expert. Jesus,
it was a good show.
It was a good show.
A great show. The new one isn't.
I have not touched the reboot. I don't want to sully that in my mind because I loved the old show. I've actually rewatched it a couple times throughout the years.
I have watched the new show. To a large degree, I enjoyed the episodes and some of the comedy, but I didn't get into the characters, with the exception of the new judge and John and Lithgow's character coming back.
John Larroquette.
It would be interesting with John Lithgow on it.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, Larroquette's character. Those two characters were interesting. None of the other characters interested me, and so I really couldn't get into it more than that.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
I'm all right. The quick callback to Sweets. John Francis Daly has a director and a screenwriter credit on Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Who does?
John Francis Daly, who played Sweets on Bones.
Sweets.
Oh, okay.
Before we get too much more sidetracked, I would like to finish my Transformers.
Yes, review. Please talk Transformers.
Transformers review.
My Transformers Rise of the Beast review. Alice, I'm sorry that you haven't seen this yet.
I'll watch it next week.
I'm sorry you haven't seen this yet. I will try not to ruin it for you.
I appreciate that. I made a genuine effort. It's not my fault they weren't screening at that movie theater.
I get it. Okay. The human characters are actually fucking useful. Unlike being just kind of there. And the kind of characters say, we gotta help them. And it's like, but you're so small. The fact that humans are so small comes up multiple times. It's like, we need to sneak into this place. You are way too big, but they can help. So it actually has a purpose for the human characters. Yay. And the human characters are very competent. I like this. I want to talk about the end, but Alice is here, so I won't. All I'm going to say is thank you, and I love it.
Well, after I watch it, Jacob, you and I can talk all about it.
We'll talk. You remember how much I wanted to talk about Spider-Verse after I got home from Spider-Verse?
I haven't seen it.
We'll talk.
I'm glad they finally decided to let the human characters do something useful. Because, I mean, if you watch Hobbs and Shaw, you see Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, and the height difference between those two people is equivalent to a human and a transformer, but they still give Jason Statham plenty of things to do.
No. It's The Rock and what's his name?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
That's a transformer to human height difference. By means. Those
Those two love each other.
So much.
Those two love each other. They screw with each other so much, and they are so funny together.
They have a bromance on Reynolds Jackman level. Like that's their level of bromance. It's that same level of like just Jesus, you two like really love each other.
I was literally watching The Rock and Kevin Hart do the tortilla slap challenge last night online.
You know, imagine if they let Kevin Hart be the comedy sidekick in Black Adam.
Oh my gosh, I'm kind of scared of that. I'm really scared of that. But the truth is that I've gotten to the point where I enjoy. I know that just watching the two of them together, I'm just going to have a fun time. And as long as I put certain things out of my head to remind of the franchise, so I'll pretty much watch it because the two of them together, it's just you come out of it feeling like, that was cool, that was satisfying. I'm happy because they'll just totally go off script and fix it as they go if there's a script issue. I know that they did that. There were comments about them doing that in previous movies.
Well, hey, I have a very, very young boy I need to go put to bed, so I would like to wrap things up.
Okay.
Our inaugural casual Friday chat stream. So
happy I could make it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. You were actually on time. It was nice.
I'm glad I showed up, but my normal early turned out to be late only because I got the wrong info.
I know. We understand you're quite fastidious. No one's taking that away from you, Alice.
Is there anything people want to plug before we sign off?
I wrote a game called Cocaine Owlbear. You might have heard of it. No? Okay. Never mind.
Heard of it. And Jacob has a shirt for it.
Yes.
Yep. tinyurl.com/cocaine owlbear. You can get the shirt. Or mikelaugh.itch.io/cocaine-owlbear to get the game. You can get it for $1. Just $1. Or it's on Drive-Thru RPG for a little bit more, because But
Drive-Thru, because Drive-Thru cuts into you quite a bit for no reason.
30%, baby.
Yeah, they that's the Drive-Thru tax. So anyway,
for me, I would like to plug. I have friends who are in an independent film company called Zombie Orpheus Entertainment, and I would like to plug their new project. They are going to be crowdfunding 2 new episodes of their popular Strowlers series, which is an urban fantasy series, Hawaii and the Labyrinth. So these are excellently written, very well produced. For they a lot of heart and passion goes into the Strowlers and everything that Zombie Orpheus does. I highly recommend it. So yeah, if you look them up on a lot of social media, they're easy to find. Zombie Orpheus Entertainment, Strowlers, look them up, support it, do it.
And like Jacob said, they are great people, absolutely amazing people. I have loved every one of them that I've gotten to know.
Jen Page is a friend of Zenith Comics, by the way. So speaking of Zombie Orpheus, Jen comes out of that pool. For me, just head on over to Gen X GM here, Bear the Gen X GM on YouTube. If you like no bullshit, straight talk, interesting community, we're not positive, we're not negative, we're just realistic, and we don't play favorites. Come on by.
Hey, Jacob, can we talk to Zombie Orpheus about buying the movie rights for Cocaine Owlbear?
I will see what I can do.
All right. I can sew
You're
some
paying my
Muppets.
flight to Washington if you're going to cast me in it still.
All right. We can do it. All right, folks. Thanks for checking us out. We will do this again next Friday, I hope. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.